Envy is a waste of time. You already have all you need. Sometimes the world is trying to tell you who you are, but if you don't stop to reflect and listen, you'll never be able to hear. Enjoy every bit of your life to the fullest. Your compromises and sacrifices will be rewarded. An apology without change is just a manipulation. You don't really know the person you're with until you move in together. Never marry anyone without living with them first. Hurting them back will not heal your pain. Someday you will look back and know exactly why it had to happen. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can always choose how you respond to it. Stop having relationship problems with people you are not in relationships with. Once you lose someone, it is never exactly the same person who comes back. If you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you'll never get it done. If you say you'll do something, do it. Your word is one of the most valuable things you can cultivate, and if your word ever loses that value, it will be hard to get it back. Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. You might not enjoy discipline, but you'll enjoy the results. You won't always be able to help someone change for the better if you keep trying. There will come a day when you decide you can't do it anymore, and they clearly don't want to change. Just because you miss them doesn't mean you need them back in your life. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Be careful who you share your weaknesses with. Some people can't wait for the opportunity to use them against you. In solitude, the mind gains strength and learns to lean upon itself. Sooner or later, a person who wears two faces forgets which one is real. What you allow is what will continue. Your true friends become apparent when you're at your lowest. Live life the way you want to live it, because even people who care for you can't be with you every step of the way. You're going to make a lot of people mad doing what's right for you. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Potential means you haven't done anything yet. Maturing is realizing that overplaying your part in people's lives to prove your loyalty is only proving how much less you value yourself. Deal with people the way they deal with you. If you're lucky enough to get a second chance at something, don't waste it. Stop looking for happiness in the same place you lost it. Real strength is letting people lose you instead of begging them to choose you. There's a reason why some people are not in your life anymore. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. Most people are only nice when things don't matter. Never be so kind you forget to be clever, and never be so clever you forget to be kind. You'll be alone in the most difficult times of your life. These times will make you wise, mature, and fearless. Some people only care about you if you're doing something for them. When you start seeing your worth, you'll find it harder to stay around people who don't. The truth is that maturing is realizing that a relationship can always work out and always be fixed no matter the situation. One wrong step can change everything. Don't lie, don't cheat, be honest and be loyal. Never take someone's feelings for granted. You never know how much courage they took to share them. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You can't really control someone's loyalty towards you. You can do so much for someone and still not be treated well. If you blame it on someone else, don't expect it to get better. One day you'll have a clean, quiet house and a car with a spotless interior, and all you'll want is for the ones who made the mess to come home. Action proves who someone is. Words just prove who they pretend to be. Once you feel you are avoided by someone, never disturb them again. Be cautious with good deeds. Kindness has limits, and some may exploit your generosity. Your progress does not need to be seen or validated by others to be real. Expectation always hurts, so expect less or no expectation from others. You'll ruin your life trying to make everyone happy. The only time you should look into someone else's bowl is to make sure they have enough. Given the choice between being right and being kind, choose kind. Don't take criticism from anyone you would not take advice from. When you're working for someone else's dream, you sacrifice your own. A person who doesn't have a life of their own will always try to create drama in yours. You can't lose what you never had, you can't keep what's not yours, and you can't hold on to some things that don't want to stay. Life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. Most people will deceive you if you give them at least half a chance. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The people who mind don't matter. The people who matter don't mind. Believe half of what you see and don't believe anything you hear. Never expect someone to catch you when you fall, even if you have caught many from falling. You can be friends with people for years, and it could take years to realize they were never your friends. All endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. Life may knock you down, but remember, you don't lose by falling. You lose by staying down. You may be the only person left who believes in you, but it's enough. The more you don't have sex, the less you want it. Not everyone is meant to be in your future. Some people are just passing through to teach you lessons in life. People know your worth, they just hope you don't. Don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with the results. Sometimes good things fall apart, so better things can fall together. Accept people as they are, but place people where they belong. For better or worse, the way things are now is not how they will always be. Never confuse people who are always around you with people who are always there for you. You can't reach for what's in front of you until you let go of what's behind you. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. Don't try to save a person who isn't actively trying to save themselves. They just want someone to pull down with them and often don't really want to be saved. Whatever you do between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. pays the bills, and what you do between 5 p.m. and midnight builds your legacy. Be careful about the stories you're telling yourself about your current circumstances. A head full of negative thoughts has no space for positive ones. The people who say you can't and you won't are usually the ones scared that you will. People ask what you do for a living so they can calculate the level of respect to give you. Your life right now is a result of the choices you made this past year. Your life a year from now will be a result of the new choices you start to make. Choosing comfort over discomfort does not lead to a comfortable life. Stay close to the people who want more for you, not more from you. Sometimes the hardest things in life are the things that we need to hear the most. Experience is the hardest kind of teacher. It gives you the test first and the lesson afterward. There comes a time in your life when you have to choose to turn the page, write another book, or simply close it. Solving a problem without solving its root cause is like taking a step forward and then one back. How you treat your body before you are 45 is how your body will treat you after you are 45. The wrong people always teach you the right life lessons. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Once you realize the power of your presence, you won't be just anywhere. You will never hear someone who's doing better than you speak negatively about you. If you don't separate yourself from your distractions will separate you from your goals and the life you want. If you can find paths without any obstacles, it probably leads nowhere. One of the fastest ways to improve your life is to simply do what you said you were going to do. There is only one thing more painful than learning from experience, and that is not learning from experience. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. You are always stronger and more resourceful than you give yourself credit for. Two things to remember in life: take care of your thoughts when you're alone, and take care of your words when you're with people. People only change for themselves. You won't have to force it and break yourself apart to help them. If it can be fixed, why are you complaining? If it can't be fixed, why are you complaining? Everyone wants to skip the struggle, not knowing that that's where character is built. Failure is the way life teaches us its rules, in particular the ones we don't want to learn. It never gets easy, but it gets easier. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Some people are investments and some people are bills. Know the difference. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. You can choose the game you play, but not its rules. We cannot live happily wishing the world followed the rules we are comfortable with. Stop being so available to people who are only there for you when it's convenient for them. You don't notice your progress in life because you are always raising the bar. The human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. When you're driving through the darkness, you can only see as far as the headlights shine, but you can make the whole trip that way. There is a healthy amount of distrust to have in everyone. Nobody's intentions are truly clear, even after being stated. You aren't crazy, you're intelligent. The trouble is, you think you have time. Our wounds are often the openings into the best and most beautiful part of us. If they don't know you personally, don't take it personally. Recognizing that you are not where you want to be is a starting point to begin changing your life. If you wouldn't take advice from them, why would you take criticism? Sometimes, the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. Never marry a woman who has bigger feet than you. Smart people learn from everything and everyone, average people from their experiences, and stupid people already have all the answers. Don't tell your friend what your enemy shouldn't know. Expect little from people, expect a lot from yourself. That's the secret of a happy life. Don't rely on others to tell you how to be happy or what makes a good life. Staying positive doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. It means that even on hard days, you know that there are better ones coming. Don't just love yourself. Have respect for yourself. If you don't, other people will have no problems walking all over you. Don't let anyone who hasn't been in your shoes tell you how to tie your laces. The quickest way to succeed is to start now and figure it out as you go. You can't learn to drive in a parked car. The time you kill does not die without avenging itself. Be not afraid of moving slowly. Be only afraid of standing still. We generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by action. You can lie down for people to walk on you, and they'll still complain you're not flat enough. Maybe the path that scares you the most is the one you need to take. Don't be afraid to do things by yourself. Waiting for other people will cause you to miss out on some wonderful things in life. When you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. You'll never be rewarded for following someone else's rules. If you only do what you can do, you'll never be more than you are now. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor. Problems grow to the size they need for you to acknowledge them. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. You may not realize it when it happens, but a kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. Adversity is not a detour, it is part of the path. If you fuel your journey on the opinions of others, you are going to run out of gas. Go forth on your path as it exists only through your walking. Show respect to people even when they don't deserve it. Respect is a reflection of your character, not theirs. If you want to feed a problem, keep thinking about it. If you want to solve a problem, take action. The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. Sometimes you need your feelings hurt so you can wake up and focus on yourself. Most of what feels urgent is important for someone else, not for you. As long as you're going to be thinking anyway, think big. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Adversity has the effect of eliciting talents, which in prosperous circumstances would have lain dormant. A decision is a sharp knife that cuts clean and straight. Indecision is a dull one that hacks and tears and leaves ragged edges behind it. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. If you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. You have to fight through some bad days to earn the best days of your life. The world is round, and the place which may seem like the end may also be the beginning. With confidence, you have won before you have started. Don't be discouraged. It's often the last key in the bunch that opens the lock. If we all did the things we are capable of, we would literally astound ourselves. Change is never painful. Only resistance to change is painful. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the ones you did. Maturity is when you stop complaining and making excuses and start making changes. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. Sometimes you have to lose, or you have to find out who you truly are. You will have to face problems all your life, and you can decide whether they will be the same ones over and over. Nothing is permanent in this wicked world, not even our troubles. There is hope, even when your brain tells you there isn't. Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. Where there is ruin, there is hope for a treasure. Don't be scared because you don't have all the answers right away. You will learn through your experiences and find your own way to happiness. Don't be afraid of a shadow. It just means there's a light nearby. Just because you hate this chapter doesn't mean you'll hate the book. No amount of regret can change the past, and no amount of worrying can change the future. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. If you look for the light, you will often find it, but if you look for the dark, it is all you will ever see. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, then suddenly you are doing the impossible. When you cut off someone from your life, They will never tell people the full story. They will only tell people the part that makes you look bad and them innocent. The moment you want to quit is exactly when you should keep going. People who avoid failure also avoid success. There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. If you want to increase your success rate, double your failure rate. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Take care of your body. It is the only place you have to live in. When you try to please everybody, you almost always please nobody. Never lower your standards just because someone can't meet them. People don't think about you as much as you imagine they do. We don't walk away to teach people a lesson. We walk away because we finally learned ours. You cannot convince people to love you. No one will ever give you love because you want him or her to give it. Real love moves freely in both directions. Don't waste your time on anything else. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. You can win a lot in life just by being the last one to give up. More important than the ability to pick the right one is the strength to walk away from the wrong one. Forgiving people in silence and never speaking to them again is a form of self-care. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Stop complaining about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. If you stopped seeing the world in terms of what you like and what you dislike and saw things for what they truly are in themselves, you would find a great deal more peace in your life. You may be the only person left who believes in you, but it's enough. As you improve, you'll find yourself more disappointed with those around you. To avoid this, be hard on yourself, but understanding of others. When you start seeing your worth, you'll find it harder to stay around people who don't. Winners have lost more times than the losers have tried. Problems are the price you pay for progress. Until you change your thinking, you will recycle your experience. People don't get what they deserve. Tomorrow is a direct result of what you choose to do today. It's not who you think you are that holds you back, it's who you think you're not. You'll ruin your life trying to make everyone happy. Strength doesn't come from what you can do, it comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. Problems cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created them. The more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle. Stop looking for happiness in the same place you lost it. To be the best, you must be able to handle the worst. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Waiting for change while not doing anything for it is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. If you find yourself repeatedly questioning whether or not something is right for you, the answer is usually no. Confidence isn't walking into a room thinking you are better than everyone. It's walking in not having to compare yourself to anyone at all. If you wait for something, all that happens is that you get older. Buy something without looking at the price tag. First, work without looking at the clock. There's only one thing more precious than our time, and that's who we spend it on. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. If you're born poor, it's not your mistake. If you die poor, it's your mistake. The past cannot be changed, forgotten, edited, or erased. It can only be accepted. Time is like a river. You cannot touch the same water twice because the flow that has passed will never pass again. Your value is not determined by someone else's inability to see your worth. Don't make decisions based on fear. Make them based on hope. Your life will get better when you realize it's better to be alone than to chase people who don't really care about you. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past, and the only person better you should be. This is who you are now. Life becomes more meaningful when you realize the simple fact that you will never get the same moment twice. It's possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. No matter how much you've been told, there's always more to the story. You're going to make a lot of people mad doing what's right for you. You can't cross the ocean until you lose sight of the shore. You will never remember the days and nights you stay home and do nothing. Someone's opinion of you doesn't have to become your reality. The more sexual partners a woman has had, the more likely she is to be depressed. A denied expectation hurts more than a denied hope, while a fulfilled hope makes us happier than a fulfilled expectation. You train people how to treat you, unconsciously or not. There are more things likely to frighten us than to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Only two things we'll regret on deathbed: that we are a little loved and little traveled. The size of your dreams must always exceed your current capacity to achieve them. If your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. The goal in life isn't to be perfect. It's just to be better than you were before. You are always one decision away from a totally different life. Don't be afraid to start over again. This time you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. The more responsibility you take, the more you empower yourself to actually do something about that pain. Don't take people for granted. You never know when they could be gone. You never know how much they mean to you until they're gone. When someone shows you their true colors, don't try and paint a different picture. Hands that were on your shoulder during bad times are more valuable than the hands that clap for you on your success. Forgiving doesn't make the person who hurt you feel better, it makes you feel better. Accept things as they are. Life isn't about living in the past or living for the future. It's about living in the now. People who play roles will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. You are always responsible for how you act, no matter how you feel. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. Learn to deal with people for who they are, not who you want to be. Extraordinary results come from repeating ordinary actions over an inordinate amount of time. You can either choose a happy, conventional, and stress-free life, or you can choose a very interesting, but more difficult and meaningful life. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. When you blame someone else for your problems, you're giving them power over you. You're allowing them to define and dictate your happiness and well-being. People start hating you when they cannot control you. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. If you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth to someone else, you have already forgotten your value. Leave when a promise turns into a sorry. You don't find your purpose somewhere else. You create your purpose exactly where you are, and you bear meaning to it. No single thing will solve all your problems. No goal, no achievement, no relationship. You will always feel mildly inadequate and somewhat dissatisfied with your life. A happy life is not a life without stress. It's a life of meaningful stress. You won't forget some bad things. You just stop caring. Until that happens, don't stress too much about it. It's never too late to do the thing you've always wanted to do. Don't let naysayers discourage you because they may be projecting their own insecurities. The more you love yourself, the more you'll detach yourself from things that don't love you. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. You can have results or excuses, not both. Growth happens when you start doing things that you're not qualified to. Be smart enough to ask for advice, but be wise enough to know who to seek it from. With time, the more wins with fear you can accumulate, the more fearless you will become. Never make someone a priority who only makes you an option. Whoever fights can lose. Whoever doesn't fight has already lost. The only way to feel better about yourself is to do things worth feeling good about. A lot of things broke your heart, but fixed your vision. Never deny yourself an experience just because it's unknown or uncomfortable. It may just be a defining and wonderful part of your life. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Your entire life can change in an instant. So instead of passively taking what you have for granted, be grateful for it and do whatever good you can with it. One of the most dangerous things you can do is believe someone's opinion about you. Your relationship with others is a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself. Your tomorrow can be very different from today if you try. Keep thinking about what is not working today, and I promise you that your tomorrow won't either. It's not about having time, it's about making time. You can't always be nice. That's how people take advantage of you. Sometimes you have to set boundaries. Destroy the old you before it destroys you. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. Never be so loyal that you betray yourself. You cannot have everything. You always exchange something for something. Weak people revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore. We are defined by what we give up, what we sacrifice, and what we reject. You are merely a reflection of the preferences and demands of the people around you. If you don't decide who you are, other people will decide for you. You grow as much as the amount of truth you're willing to accept about yourself without running away. There is always time. The only question is how long you will make excuses and pretend that it doesn't exist. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. The worst kind of enemies are those who pretend to be your friends. You are controlled by the one who makes you angry. Do not discuss your past with anyone, because only you know its true story and significance. Others may not understand, or even use it against you. To see someone's true character, notice only two things: how they treat people they don't know, and how they respond when things don't go their way. The more grateful you are, the more beauty you will see all around you, the more generous life will seem, and the happier you will become. Sometimes you need to stop seeing the good in people and start seeing what they show you. If there's something you want to do in life, don't wait. If you do, you might find 5 years have passed without you doing anything. Most of your problems disappear once you start hanging out with smarter, more thoughtful people. Everything comes to you at the right time. Be patient and trust the process. You can't always help. Sometimes you will watch people you love make terrible decisions despite the advice you give them. Envy is a waste of time. You already have all you need. Sometimes the world is trying to tell you who you are, but if you don't stop to reflect and listen, you'll never be able to hear. Enjoy every bit of your life to the fullest. Your compromises and sacrifices will be rewarded. An apology without change is just a manipulation. You don't really know the person you're with until you move in together. Never marry anyone without living with them first. Hurting them back will not heal your pain. Someday you will look back and know exactly why it had to happen. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can always choose how you respond to it. Stop having relationship problems with people you are not in relationships with. Once you lose someone, it is never exactly the same person who comes back. If you spend too much time thinking about a thing, you'll never get it done. If you say you'll do something, do it. Your word is one of the most valuable things you can cultivate, and if your word ever loses that value, it will be hard to get it back. Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. You might not enjoy discipline, but you'll enjoy the results. You won't always be able to help someone change for the better if you keep trying. There will come a day when you decide you can't do it anymore, and they clearly don't want to change. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Be careful who you share your weaknesses with. Some people can't wait for the opportunity to use them against you. In solitude, the mind gains strength and learns to lean upon itself. Sooner or later, a person who wears two faces forgets which one is real. What you allow is what will continue. Your true friends become apparent when you're at your lowest. Live life the way you want to live it, because even people who care for you can't be with you every step of the way. You're going to make a lot of people mad doing what's right for you. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Potential means you haven't done anything yet. Maturing is realizing that overplaying your part in people's lives to prove your loyalty is only proving how much less you value yourself. Deal with people the way they deal with you. If you're lucky enough to get a second chance at something, don't waste it. Stop looking for happiness in the same place you lost it. There's a reason why some people are not in your life anymore. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. Most people are only nice when things don't matter. Never be so kind you forget to be clever, and never be so clever you forget to be kind. You'll be alone in the most difficult times of your life. These times will make you wise, mature, and fearless. Some people only care about you if you are doing something for them. When you start seeing your worth, you'll find it harder to stay around people who don't. The truth is that maturing is realizing that a relationship can always work out and always be fixed no matter the situation. One wrong step can change everything. Don't lie, don't cheat, be honest, and be loyal. Never take someone's feelings for granted. You never know how much courage they took to share them. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You can't really control someone's loyalty towards you. You can do so much for someone and still not be treated well. If you blame it on someone else, don't expect it to get better. One day you'll have a clean, quiet house and a car with a spotless interior, and all you'll want is for the ones who made the mess to come home. Action proves who someone is. Words just prove who they pretend to be. Once you feel you are avoided by someone, never disturb them again. Be cautious with good deeds. Kindness has limits, and some may exploit your generosity. Your progress does not need to be seen or validated by others to be real. Expectation always hurts, so expect less or no expectation from others. You'll ruin your life trying to make everyone happy. The only time you should look into someone else's bowl is to make sure they have enough. Given the choice between being right and being kind, choose kind. Don't take criticism from anyone you would not take advice from. When you're working for someone else's dream, you sacrifice your own. A person who doesn't have a life of their own will always try to create drama in yours. You can't lose what you never had. You can't keep what's not yours, and you can't hold on to some things that don't want to stay. Life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. Most people will deceive you if you give them at least half a chance. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. If you don't have sex for 17 days, you will become stronger in your self-control. The people who mind don't matter. The people who matter don't mind. Believe half of what you see and don't believe anything you hear. Never expect someone to catch you when you fall, even if you have caught many from falling. You can be friends with people for years, and it could take years to realize they were never your friends. All endings are also beginnings. We just don't know it at the time. Life may knock you down, but remember, you don't lose by falling. You lose by staying down. You may be the only person left who believes in you, but it's enough. Not everyone is meant to be in your future. Some people are just passing through to teach you lessons in life. No amount of success can compensate for failure at home. Your friends' problems become your problems. The smaller your social circle, the fewer problems you have. When you laugh, people laugh with you, and when you cry alone. Overtrusting, betrayal, masturbation, loss of energy, stress, hair loss, overthinking, depression, saying no, important, revenge, ruining our own life, observing, increase in wisdom, forgiving, healing, letting go, peace of mind. You can always earn money. It's not a big deal. Your world is not going to end because you don't have a fixed income. Something else will work out. Every person has three faces. Firstly, the one we show to the world and strangers. Secondly, the one we show to family, spouses, and close friends. And thirdly, the one we show only to ourselves. Not everything in this world should be your problem. Some things are simply none of your business. Focus on the issues that affect you directly. You will be much happier that way. Rejection is important for self-development. No one has the answer. You're going to spend a lot of time figuring things out. Sometimes, when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. The person who cares less has the most power in a relationship. The world doesn't care about your potential, it cares about what you've done. You spend all your health initially for wealth, and then you spend all your wealth for one day of good health. Never compare your life with others. They may seem better than you, but they have some problems which are never ever heard by you. Don't tell anyone what you think or what you know. Keep your secrets to yourself, because a friend of today could be an enemy by tomorrow. Embrace judgment. No matter your outcome, you'll always be judged. So don't live to impress others, live to impress yourself. Worry is the ultimate bully. It takes everything and gives nothing. Wasting time in regretting, cribbing, and crying won't fetch you results. You are right about all the things you think you need to do. Don't wait, get started. If something bothers you, change it. If it is beyond your control, learn to live with it, accept it, change yourself. That is the only thing you can influence. When you get up in the morning, remember what you promised yourself at night. You spend your first 20 years worrying about what people think about you. You spend your next 20 years swearing that you don't care what people think about you. You spend the next 20 years realizing that they aren't thinking about you. To have what you never had, you have to do what you never did. People will say almost anything when they're happy. Be wise and careful of this one. The world will not treat you better just because you're a good person. Chasing the opposite sex and having temporary relationships which mean nothing but sex is pointless. What people say when they are angry aren't things they mean. They regret it often. Forgive angry people. It's okay. They are only human. The more people let you down, the easier you'll get back up and realize that life doesn't stop for anyone. You can't litter negativity everywhere and wonder why you have a trashy life. Not everyone will make it to your future. Some people are passing through to teach you life lessons. If you waste money, you can earn it again. If you miss the moment, it can never be returned. Life isn't fair, and sometimes good deeds aren't rewarded and bad deeds aren't punished. Things work out when you least expect them. Life has a funny way of surprising us when we're not looking for it. The ego is not a bad thing, and sometimes we need it in order to achieve our aims and feel vitality. However, the ego is just a tool. We shouldn't let it control us. There will always be someone who is better than you in something, and you have to accept that fact and learn from them. That's something that will help you grow. Betrayal never comes from your enemies. The hardest part is at the beginning of the journey. The rocket loses 90% of its fuel during takeoff. A moment of patience in a moment of anger saves from 1,000 minutes of regret. Success is a loner's journey. You must learn to accept loss and make compromises. Putting off until tomorrow is your weakness. You can't always have a good day, but you can always face a bad day with a good attitude. Don't compare yourself to others because no one can play your role better than you. No work is beneath you. The only thing that should be beneath you is your big ego. Work hard in silence and show your skills at the job you get, rather than criticizing the job. No matter how hard you work, you can't have everything you want. Eventually, most of us end up settling in some part of our life. Owning your truth can be hard, but not nearly as hard as spending your life running away from it. Many of the people you told your secret to have already told it to others. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. People only want to hear the good, not the bad. So if you have issues, it'll be hard to find people to confide in. The walls you build to keep things out are also keeping things in. There are times when you see someone for the last time and don't even realize it. Watch out. You'll never know the true value of the moment until it becomes a memory. Never expect too high. The more you expect when it doesn't meet your expectation, the more it's gonna hurt. The only two people that will never let you down are your parents, not your wife, not your husband, not your kids, nor your friends. You might regret your speech, but you'll never regret your silence. Learn to let go, even if you are right. Life is a boxing game. Defeat is not declared when you fall down. It is declared when you refuse to get up. It is indeed very hard to move on, but once you do, you'll realize it was your best decision. Never make a promise you can't keep. Stop letting other people take advantage of you. Learn to say no and understand your rights. Saying no is important. People don't get offended as much as you think. Never awaken a woman's love with no intention of loving her. When talking to people, look them in the eye and on the face. This will make you more confident in front of others. Find something you love, something you can lean onto, something that would keep you going. You need something to fall back on when you get depressed. Nothing is complicated, not as much as you assume. It's just your mind playing tricks with you. If you get down to it, it's all really simple and clear. Time is your most valuable resource. There are no refunds or second chances for the time you waste. No one in this world will stand up for you like the way your parents do. Always be there for them. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. Be impatient with actions, but patient with results. If you're not happy with yourself, you'll never be happy in a relationship. Being lonely and being alone are different things. Overthinking ruins you. It ruins the situation, twists things around, makes you worry about futile questions, and makes everything much worse than it actually is. Most people are a complete waste of time. A lesson never ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Don't let people know too much about you. Just trust your instincts. Gut feelings can sometimes save you from big troubles. You don't get extra marks for putting up with people you dislike. Life is unfair. Don't moan. Don't complain. Learn to be thick-skinned. Make the most of what you can. You don't have to be great to start, but to become great, you just have to start. The moment poverty walks in through the door, love and peace toss themselves out of the window. Don't be emotionally attached to anyone. People change. Even your best friends may probably turn into strangers one day. Never trust a friend who is silent about your flaws. Think before you act. You can take a second to do something you haven't properly considered, that isn't a true reflection of your character, and it can undo a lifetime of kindness and generosity. Life gives you lemons, pepper, salt, and sometimes cold water, but they don't come together or in a certain order. So keep struggling until the lemonade is ready. If you can't do it now, you won't do it ever. Regretting won't change your past, and it will end up your future if you continue to do that. Don't make hopes. Hopes will create expectation, and expectation makes you weaker. Some people just won't admit they're wrong. Don't waste time trying to get them to accept it. The woman who wants the most sex is the one who often yearns for a deeper sense of intimacy, yet may struggle to find it through physical means alone. You are not unique. There will always be someone else equally attractive, fun, and qualified to replace you. Don't read a quote and say this is wise, but read a quote and say, how can I relate this to my life? No one cares except you. Do what lifts you up in your eyes. What people say does not matter. A tree doesn't compete with the trees around it. It just grows. Some things have to end in order for better things to begin. You will not find yourself in the opinions of others. What is coming is better than what has gone. The biggest lie you've told yourself is that you're not ready yet. The people with the worst past can create the best future. Forgive yourself for accepting less than you deserved, but don't do it again. Sometimes we break ourselves to leave behind the pieces that were never ours to carry. We are products of our past, but we don't have to be prisoners of it. Someday, when things are okay, you'll look back and feel proud that you didn't give up. Some paths can't be discovered without getting lost first. Stop choosing what's not choosing you. Sometimes we don't want to heal because the pain is the last link to what we've lost. The chains that hold you back were never put there by someone else. You don't notice your progress in life because you are always raising the bar. You can only lose what you cling to. Work on your boundaries. You can't be everything to everyone and nothing to yourself. Perhaps you are overvaluing what you don't have and undervaluing what you do. Don't compare yourself to others. There is no comparison between the moon and the sun. They shine when it is their time. Things work out when you least expect them. Life has a funny way of surprising us when we're not looking for it. Overthinking the art of creating problems that weren't even there. Everything will be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end. Be impatient with your actions, but be patient with your results. When the road gets bumpy, you don't leave the car, you put the seatbelt on. Your value is not determined by someone else's inability to see your worth. The fish that keeps its mouth shut never gets caught. You have to believe in yourself before anyone else does. Just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not working. Everything you thought was drowning you actually taught you how to swim. Life is like a piano. White keys represent happiness and black shows sadness. But as you go through life's journey, remember that the black keys also create music. If life can remove something you never expected to lose, it can also replace it with something you never dreamt of having. You're not everything you could be, and you know it. You either solve the problem or leave the problem. Never live with the problem. We master our future with experiences from our past. You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of success and everything it demands from you. Just because something is hard to obtain doesn't mean that it's valuable. No matter how many goals you have achieved, you must set your sights on a higher one. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. You'll never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. You'll always be criticized by someone doing less. Stop chasing the money and start chasing the passion. The past shows what you've done. The future will show what you learned. Like the moon, we have to go through phases of emptiness to feel full. Stop for a moment and celebrate how far you've come. The truth is that you owe nothing to your younger self, but you owe everything to your present self. You will only learn, improve, and figure it out by doing. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. Just like nature, we all need to go through different phases of change in order to bloom. You wouldn't have learned to ride a bike if someone you trusted didn't let you go. You are not behind. You are just on your own path. If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will fail above everyone else's success. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. The pain you've been feeling can't compare to the joy that is coming. Accepting a negative experience is a positive experience. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. You won't know what is right for you until you experience enough wrong. What you do today is a reflection of who you will become tomorrow. Choose a wife rather by your ear than your eye. You cannot judge what should bring others joy, and others cannot judge what should bring you joy. To make a woman want to have sex with you, the first thing you need to do is make her feel sexually attracted to you. A man who stays long during sex will always prioritize the pleasure and satisfaction of his partner, fostering a deeper connection and creating a more fulfilling and intimate experience for both individuals involved. The success among us delays gratification and bargains with the future. Your competition isn't other people. Your competition is your procrastination, your negative thoughts, and your comfort zone. Learn to earn $10,000 to $53,000 a month editing, just like I do on my YouTube channels. Join our school and get free promotion, monetization guidance and support. Link in bio.